Hello. Thank you for coming in today. What seems to be the issue?
I'm just having some issues at work. Um, I have one of my coworkers that she's just being super rude to me for no reason, and it's making me very upset. It makes me not want to go to work.
Yeah.
Um,
What does she seem to be doing?
she thinks she has a place of authority, which she doesn't. And it's frustrating a lot of people, not just me. I've talked to a couple of my coworkers about this. Um, like everything I do, she like copies and then tries to do better, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, like for example, she got mad at me for writing a note, which we are all allowed to do. So I don't know why she got upset at me for
I
this.
can see.
Yeah.
I can see how that would be frustrating. So, how long have you worked with this employee of yours? Did this?
Almost 2 years, I believe.
Oh, 2 years. Oh, so
Yes.
you know this individual. You spend a
Yes.
lot of time with her. Do you work with her often?
At least twice a week.
Has this always been an issue for you and her? You guys have always butted heads, or?
No, no, it hasn't, and that's like the worst part. Like when we first started working together, for about I would say for the first year to year and a half, everything was fine. We got along okay, and then suddenly she just I don't know. I don't know. She just changed.
Yeah. I know I had a coworker once that I worked with that him and I kind of went through the same deal. He got a pay raise and he moved up a position, and all of a sudden he just completely changed. And it's really, really frustrating. It was really frustrating for me, and I'm sure it's really frustrating for you as well, because you know this person for how long, and all of a sudden they're just completely different. So I'm just wondering, um, did you change when she got a raise? Was there a competition between you two for that raise?
No, no, I wasn't going for the position.
Oh.
So she got the assistant manager position. I didn't want the position. I'm not a full time employee. I
Yeah.
wasn't even qualified for the position.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So there was definitely no competition. Nobody was really competing for her spot. Nobody wants that
Oh, so
spot.
she just had it.
Yeah, it's not a
Oh.
fun job. So nobody wants that.
This is not a fun job. Nobody wanted it. Okay. Okay. So as for, I'm trying to think here. As the last couple weeks, for example, the last couple
Yes.
weeks, do you think she has gotten worse? Do you think this situation's gotten worse for you?
Oh, definitely. And
Yeah.
I know that there's like she mentioned not to me but to somebody else that she's having like personal things going on in her life, but I feel like she's letting that show quite a bit at work, and that's
Okay.
frustrating everybody around.
Okay. Well, that's very understandable. This is very common. A lot of people, they tend to struggle to separate their work life and their home life, and they do tend to spill over into each other every now and then. Um, I'm trying to think, like, in terms of feelings, how you feel about the situation. Is it really like aggravating to you, or is it just something that's annoying?
It started off as just being annoying,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's gone on for almost say a little over 6 months maybe, and now it's like getting to the point where it's aggravating and it's making me very upset, like to the point where I just don't want to go to work when I see that I'm working with
Really?
her.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything that, and I'm just know because you've worked with this individual for a very long time, so I feel like you would know this. Is there anything that happens at work that makes it better or worse?
Well, I got annoyed to the point where I reported her to HR, and
It's a big step.
this I've done this 3 times. I've reported her 3 times, and other people have too. And every single time I do this, for about a week, maybe a couple days, she's like super nice and friendly and does her job really well, and talks and gets off her, like, for lack of better words, gets off her high horse.
Yeah.
But then after a little while, after I feel like after everybody else forgets about the situation, she kind of goes back to the way she was acting.
Okay, so this is a company-wide thing. I don't know where you work, but this is a
Yes.
company-wide thing where it's kind of everybody that works with her kind of feels the same way. It's not just you.
Yes. Yes, there's a couple people that the people she works less with like her more than the people she works constantly with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense. You have less interaction with her. Maybe it becomes a bit less of an issue. Maybe.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So resolving this, because this obviously is a big issue. I mean, it's affecting you enough for you to come and talk to me about it. It must be affecting your coworkers quite a bit too. Um, you mentioned. I'm trying to ask again. I'm sorry. What happened? What's something that happens at work that makes it better? Did you mention anything?
Better is when like I talk to like upper level management.
Oh, okay,
like, so
yeah.
HR
Okay.
upper level
Okay,
management,
yeah.
yeah.
Make sure I understood that correctly. So when you talk to someone higher up and then they go and talk to her, she seems to get off of her, or as you called it, her high horse, and kind of come back down to a
Yes.
ground level. Okay. Um. Okay. So have you talked to her personally about this?
No, I try to avoid having any conversations with her.
Okay. So you have an issue with someone that it's an issue that's persisted for a little while now, and you have not brought it up with the individual.
I mean, I've made a couple like comments. Like one common thing she does is she will leave the kiosk. I work in a shop, like a coffee shop. So she will leave the kiosk when there's only two of us there, and it will get so busy, and she will be gone for 15, 20 minutes, sometimes up to 2 hours. And it's things I've mentioned that to her. I've asked her where she's gone. I asked her why it's taking her so long. I've told her specifically when she leaves. I'm like, hey, please don't take too long. It's super busy. And but, like that doesn't seem to make a difference to her. I don't think she really cares about what my opinion on the issues is.
Okay.
Which is why I've kind of like started going around her and going to somebody that's
Okay.
above.
So you've tried to mention it and try to get it solved, but it does not seem to work.
Yes.
Okay. So you've resorted to, if I can't fix the solution, if I can't fix the problem, just going to try to avoid the problem.
Yes.
Okay. And so you have brought it up to her. It does not seem to work. You've taken it to HR. Works for a little bit, but then doesn't work. What's HR's standings on this? This has come up 3 times. I'm sure they have to be getting tired of this eventually.
Well, it's come up 3 times just on my end, and they've had other people mention this to them. But our HR department is just one person, so I don't really blame her. But she always says she's like, I've heard about this multiple times, and I will go talk to the store manager and the manager of your department and see what I can do. But since none of these things are technically breaking the rules per se, there's not much they can really even do to get her to stop. They just kind of have to that's what I was told.
Okay.
The best thing they can do is just tell her to be a nice person. But
Okay. So you really do you are dealing with this in a unique situation where there's something's wrong, something's bothering you. You've taken it to multiple people. It doesn't seem to be getting better. You've tried to solve the solution, tried to find a solution to the problem, and it doesn't seem to be getting better. So the next step is, well, what do you think? If you continue to deal with this, what is your thought? How are you going to continue to deal with this?
I really don't know what else there is for me to do. I just try to be civil at work and kind of deal with it. And I've mentioned it to, like I said, I mentioned it to the HR, I mentioned it to my managers, and if nothing, I guess I just have to keep mentioning it to them until they do something about it, because there's nothing, I don't have the power to do anything.
Yeah. Okay. So I think what we should do is, we're coming to the end of our session here. I'm sure we'll meet to talk about this a little bit more if this persists to be an issue. But as for the plan moving forward and how we're going to deal with this, if there's nothing we can do about a situation, then the best thing we can do is get through the situation.
Yes.
And you said you've avoided her for the most part, and
not talk.
I don't know where you work, but scheduling wise, is this something you can kind of schedule around? Do you have a saying in that?
No, I can kind of make a request to lessen the amount of time I spend with her, but we have a very similar availability, so it's hard for scheduling wise. It's hard for my manager to schedule us apart.
Okay. So I like to think the next time we meet, she'll probably sadly still be there, I would imagine.
Probably.
In your case, she'll probably still be there. So I like to think of something we can kind of do, maybe a goal we could set for the next week that would help mitigate the effects that she's having on you. I mean, because it obviously is affecting you. So if what we can do to mitigate the effects of that if she's working with you. So, for example, when you're actually talking with her, when you are working with her, maybe approaching it a different way than you have. Because you said historically you've approached it in a bringing up these issues and trying to get her not to do it. I don't know. Is she the only, like when you work in this coffee shop, I think you said, is it just you and her, or are there other people?
It kind of depends on the day. Like
Okay.
some days there's 3 of us back there, some days there's 2 of us. Usually at one point for about an hour or 2 there's 3 people there.
Okay. So if we can't avoid her, and we can't really deal with the problems that she's causing for us, maybe we can try to approach her in a different way. So I think maybe you should challenge yourself this week to try to be as friendly as you possibly can to her. And because we do know is that there are some studies that have shown that when you are nice to people and you're openly and you're very friendly to people, they tend to be more opening and accepting of advice and your things you're trying to push upon them. So instead of going at it in a let's just come at them and say this is what you're doing wrong, we need to stop, let's just try to be really, really friendly this week and see if maybe she just by herself will go, okay, well, if my coworkers are going to be friendly and opening and willing of accepting me, then I can maybe be more useful to them. Maybe that's one of the reasons she's not leaving. Again, it's just a test, really, to see what's going on in her mind. So next time we meet, we have a little bit more information about how she views her coworkers and herself. So we can maybe come up with a better solution or a better plan next time. Okay. So let me know next week. We'll meet next week, same time. Let me know how that went. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay. So I'm not entirely sure. I know we're kind of after the video here. I was not entirely sure how these videos are supposed to be set up. So one thing we did that her and I, the person I was talking to, did is we just really we just guessed on this. Like, I have no idea what she was going to bring to me. I don't know the issue she was going to bring to me, and I don't know how other people are doing that. So I just kind of wanted to make it known to you, the professor, that I'm going into this completely blind. I don't know what she's going to say. I don't know what she's going to talk about. And it does make it a little tricky, and it's very rough to do. But that is how it's going to be. So I don't know if other people are doing this. I can imagine most are, but yeah. So I don't have, my notes page is like 3 things that we talked about in class. It really is kind of a test for me, and I do love these assignments, but yes, it is just that. It is a test. So yes, thank you.